And welcome back to New Jersey Viewpoint. I'm Ken Rosato. Today we have with us 3 women who are more than doctors and educators in their chosen fields. Each is also the mother of a child who has autism. Now, what's more, all 3 are devoted to helping U.S. families cope with the challenges of raising an autistic child. In fact, they've just returned from Africa, hoping to expand their battle against developmental disabilities. Please join me in welcoming from the St. Peter's Healthcare System, Dr. Barbie Zimmerman-Beer, Director of the Division of Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics, who's also a professional advisor to My Goal, Inc. Dr. Genevieve Kumaple, who's the Executive Director and founder of My Goal, Inc. and Director of the Haven International Project, and Dr. Laurel Levy, who is a teacher and consultant with the West Windsor-Plainsboro School District. So nice to have all 3 of you here.
Thank you.
First off, what is autism? Let's start left to right. Tell us, what is autism? Describe it, because a lot of people hear the term and they think all different thoughts. Let's define what autism is.
Well, it is a lot of different things, but the way that we describe it is that it's a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects a child's ability to communicate, socialize, and it changes their interests and their behaviors. So
you could have somebody, if you catch them very, very, very young, who is autistic, and because of the way their brain is wired, if you know how to properly instruct, you could have somebody who's fully functional, depending on the level of autism, right?
And that's why it's so important that we spread this kind of information across the globe, because that message has not been heard in many different countries.
Okay, so then speaking of that, Doctor, what brought you to Africa?
I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa.
See, I would have pegged Irish. I love the accent. It's beautiful.
Thank you. And have lived in the United States here for over 20 years. And once I had a son, Nicholas, who was diagnosed with autism, it really brought home to the idea that autism is a universal issue, it's a global issue. And so that meant that we need to get the word out to every part of the world.
So now along that, how difficult is it to go to other countries where the knowledge, the general knowledge of autism may not be as great, and spread the word? How tough is that?
It could be it could be quite difficult, but the important part is really demonstrating that you care about these individuals, and also having professionals like Dr. Zimmerman-Beer and Dr. Laurel Levy with me to be able to get the public aware about the issues, and also really giving people a sense of hope that just because you have a child on the autism spectrum doesn't mean that a child cannot make gains.
And that's the thing. I've done other shows here on Viewpoint with people who have careers, and I think people have a misconception of someone who's autistic, and they don't realize you could have fully functional, relatively normal life with a career and a family and be autistic.
That's correct. I think there was a recent article that said, you know, something about, is everybody on the spectrum? And so I think that we have to understand, the more we learn about autism, the more we really learn about a lot of other different disorders as well. And we can help a lot of different families who have families that are suffering from learning issues and socialization issues, anxiety, depression. So once we conquer this enigma, we'll be able to help a lot of different people.
So Dr. Levy, in the school district, you have, I'm sure, special programs for kids who do have autism.
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
And so in the district I'm in West Windsor-Plainsboro, we have several different placements for children who have autism or other disabilities. And what we were doing when we were in Ghana was sharing the information that we've learned working with the students in our district and across the country with the people of Ghana.
And how was the reception? How did you find the reception to be?
It was really wonderful. When you meet people to people, that's where you make great strides. So we came in not to teach something and just dispense our knowledge, but to connect with people, partner with people. And when you come at it that way, it's really a wonderful interaction that you can get.
How would you say school districts around the country are responding to the challenge of the proper education needed for children with autism today? Are they all stepping up to the plate? Is it pretty universal? What's your experience?
My experience in my district is we're in with both feet. I think parents would tell you that depending on their school district, there is a range of responses. But I think overall, in the country, we have really come a long way in recognizing autism and treating it.
We had a doctor on probably about a year and a half ago who described it as, in terms of the way an autistic brain is wired versus anyone else's brain. And the way she described it was, well, you know, normally you flip on a, say if it were an electrical circuit, you flip on a switch, the light goes on. In this case, you flip on the switch and the blender goes on. It's just wired a little differently, and it's a matter of trying to retrain the wiring in the brain. Is this a pretty good analogy? Or?
Yeah, that's a very good pictorial kind of presentation of how the difficulties in getting the neurons that are there to work and communicate more effectively. And I think a lot of it is the education piece, but I don't want to underestimate that a lot of the children on the spectrum also have a lot of medical issues, which I think haven't been addressed properly. We know that they have a lot of sleep issues, sometimes GI issues. They might have difficulties with a lot of infections. And so it really does take a collaboration between the healthcare system and the education system to work together to help families, as well as the natural supports of the community.
So now, you know, at a time when we are financially strapped nationwide, how are you finding financial support in terms of research and taking care of people with autism?
I think the most important thing is that human resources are very critical and very helpful, and I think we take that for granted. The fact that we are able to bring our knowledge to a country and work with those who are there, that in itself is a huge resource. And it also enabled us to see that there is hope that needs to be spread around all over the world. Recognizing that there's need here, and that's one of the things that My Goal Autism does in the United States. We provide support, we provide resources to the families here. And then it's also exciting to know that there's some child across the globe who is also now able to get the same type of resource because we are willing to share.
Every life is precious, right?
Absolutely.
What a shame it would be to take an autistic child just because they happen to be more remote from here or have a different education system or whatever, and not give them that simple resource from young on, to early times on, to learn and prosper the way that our kids who are autistic in this country at least have the opportunity.
So we look for partners, whether it's corporations or organizations that are willing to share and are willing to say, we want to step forward with you. And this whole project came about because Autism Research Institute said to us, well, we're looking to doing global initiatives, and we want to really partner with different countries across the globe. And we need people who are willing to step out. And that's how My Goal Autism and St. Peter's University Hospital, and also with the West Windsor Plainsboro School District, we're able to say we're willing to step out. And it's been phenomenal in terms of the response that we've received. But yet, we're of course looking for more people to partner with us. Teachers.
How do people get in touch with you then? How do they do it if they want to take part and be part of this?
We're on Facebook, Autism Africa, and you get to see what Haven International is doing. We're looking for teachers, we're looking for healthcare professionals, we're looking for therapists to be a part of that. We're looking for any and every person, mothers, fathers, to come out with us and partner with us as we reach across the world.
Doctors, thank you very much for being here. It is wonderful, and what a great cause. It really is.
Thank
it's
you.
great that we're all learning more and more, albeit too slowly, but learning more and more about autism. That's great.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And for information on all of the organizations featured on Viewpoint, and if you happen to have missed a segment and would like to watch a show at your leisure, do visit us at 7online.com/viewpoint. We'll be right back with Hugs to Go, a company whose product helps in dealing with separation anxiety or the loss of a loved one. Don't go away.